What's up, B-Dog? Gotta be kind of quiet in here. My kid's next door sleeping. Well, what's going on, man? All right, guys, ladies, anybody who's joining, I'm gonna record this, just FYI. All right, there we go. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Mr. Realistic here. Kind of got to keep it down. Kid's sleeping right next door, or next door, in the other room. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, that was a crazy ending to the day, and RGBP held strong. I tell you what, man, a lot of these tickers did, and I was really happy and surprised by them. Yeah, man, go ahead. But before we get started, please know this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do all your DD before you do anything. All right. What do you think about ENZC? Yeah, I will actually get into that. Let me just put that up here for you, um, B-Dog, because I actually haven't. I think I kind of glimpsed at ENZC yesterday, and I really liked it, and I just got sidetracked because of RGBP and everything else. All those other tickers. And like I said, I try to limit my tickers, and I really liked what I saw, and that was when it was at like 8. Gosh, kicking myself in the cheeks now for not jumping on that because that thing consistently gets the volume much needs, and so does RGBP. Shop. I know a lot of you probably be like, nah, bull crap, but yeah, no, it actually does. Um, it's just stocks don't get the volume when they're in the downtrend. Look at the volume right here. That's on the hourly. Let's switch to daily for ENZC. I mean, look at this. All right, and then you get a huge sell. I mean, that's that's because it hit resistance up here off the 200, and came off of that, and it's also because of the Fed and just being stupid. I don't even want to get into that, guys. But let's just hope that we get some support somewhere in the market wise, or the volume that we're anticipating will be delayed again. I mean, literally, the timing that they have on their stuff just drives me up the wall. Absolutely infuriates me because I mean, you guys saw the volume on Friday and Monday. It was coming back and it was right there to break it. Oh, frustrating. All right, everybody. I digress. So what we're looking here, and I'll do this one because I'm going to get more in depth into RGBP. Um, and and both of them are very similar as well. So what we're looking at here is a stock that had a major run. And actually, I like that we're doing ENZC because I can also compare it to why I think the RGBP will do something very similar. So as you guys know, when we talk stocks and everything, I would say look at the weekly and we'll look at the daily because those are the two longest things it takes. Each one of these candles right here represents one day. So I mean, we're looking, 2021 was right here, and then we had 2022 over here. So this is a whole year essentially right here. And so as we take our measuring tool over here, and if you bought, November 20 in ENZC, I mean, you obviously made a crap ton of money, all right? Because look, we're looking at, look at that. It's insanity, okay? So where did I put this at the bottom as? Yeah, I mean, look, if you bought it 0016 and you were able to hit that top right there, 61,000. That's insane. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can't expect a stock not to get sold off by that and not to come back. It's going to take a long retrace, and this is what I call a crypto retrace right here. They run up crazy percentages and then they come back down, and it takes a long time for them to recover. And people wonder why. It's because you can't run up that high without having it come back. So what we're looking for is for these MAs to get back in order and to get the volume that it needs. So if we're looking at here, remember our bullish breakout is, the green, then blue, then yellow, and then purple. Okay, so that's on this is 520, 50, and 200. Right, it's fine if you're using the 8 and 21, that works just as well. I'm just trying something new. It kind of gives me a little bit early of an entry, I feel like, so far with it. I like it. I like it a lot so far. So I'm going to stick with that. So MAs are 520, 520, 50, and 200. 50 and 200 will never change. Those are our long-term indicators. All right. So keep in mind when these indicators are at the bottom, all right, they're acting as support. They're helping your stock. Look, that's why it bounces off of it and it keeps going up. Okay. But once you start getting under these things, they act as resistance. Remember, this is like going up an easy, like you're walking up a mountain here, okay? All right. But now, instead of you walking up, this is like a boulder coming down, okay? And you're down here trying to push it up and trying to stop it from falling. All right. It's just not going to happen. It just keeps going and going and going. But see, look, the 200 was still at the bottom and it's acting as support right here. And that's good. And that's why you don't want to break that on the daily because then it acts as resistance. And that's why when people go, I'm done with this thing because you're under everything, especially on the daily. It takes forever to come up and above it. So look what happened here with ENZC. Okay, so ENZC retraced, which it should have. Okay, let's see how much it retraced by, because it's going to be a massive amount if you bought top, of course. All right, so we're talking top to bottom here was 90%. Okay, so 90% we pulled back here. All right, and then it gets a pop. Okay, that pop was occurred because it was oversold. People saw opportunity. What's up, man? All right. Do I, big dog? One sec, dude. Let me see if I've got my headset set on or it's. Yeah, that should be right. I don't know, man. It's probably just my voice. Sucks. Um, so we popped off over here, okay, and we came up and above, and now because of that pop, thanks, man. We popped up over that 200 and look, it's acting as support again and riding with it, but then fell down. All right. Now, this could be the potential for a swoop and loop. But remember, with swoop and loop, thank you, swoop and loop it needs volume for it to work, everybody. You got to have the volume because if it doesn't get the volume, it just keeps dipping. Okay. So as it's coming in here, it's looping up, it's getting that support, but up 200's resistance. Okay. It couldn't get up and over that. All right. Keep in mind, these are each 1 day candles here. All right, so then we get rejected and we come back. So now we're getting another test here, all right, with ENZC. And this is why it didn't pass. And I truthfully didn't read 1,000 into, yeah, Dennis, 1,000% the into the chart ENZC today. But that makes more sense of why we pulled back in ENZC today is because we have yet to break over this. Okay, so what we're looking for is we want to come up and over. Okay, this right here on the 50. Okay, 50 MA, and then push up and through. It takes volume, folks. We need a lot of volume. Uh, I tried to use EMAs. EMAs are more for short term, and MAs are more long term. They kind of up the EMAs update a lot faster than they should. I'm just so used to looking at MAs on there that I really cannot. Um, I tried getting into EMAs last week, and it just it, it what I see just alters. Like I can't see it correctly. I don't know. It's just a personal preference kind of thing. A lot of people use EMAs. A lot of people use MAs. For some reason, I just see MAs a lot smoother and a lot easier. It just comes to me a little bit more natural. Um, but what we're looking for, folks, to break this, obviously volume. I mean, look at the volume here. Let's look at volume for the day over the last 3 days right here. So 17 million. Then we had 48.5 million. And then today we had 108 million. Okay. So we need that volume to keep rising to help this through. Is it going to happen every day? No. All right. A lot of these stocks you're going to see if they go up and then they're going to fib retrace because look, let's look at what let's take a measuring tool here and put it right back here at bottom. Okay, so bottom on December 22nd, if that person was holding and they got a pop right there, they made 165%. Okay, so yeah, you're going to get that. Not only that, you're going to get a lot of resistance here. That's not only from MMs, that's from traders as well, because they know how hard it is to break that 200, so they sell there. And if a lot of people do that, that's where that resistance comes from. All right. And that's why it's so hard because you've got all these people in their mind saying, oh, they're not going to break that, so I'll just sell there. That's why it gets a lot harder to break, especially on the daily. So this is what we need to happen to break. And this goes for any chart, by the way. All right. One, you need volume. Okay. Because look, it took this much volume. See how low it was right here? It took this much volume just to do this. Okay. You need that consistent volume. The more volume you have, the easier it becomes to reverse a chart. Okay. That's why I'm saying bull markets, they pull these charts around. Then we get to a bullish formation. These then become our support and not our resistances and helps us move up. That's why you see people that only trade in bull markets because they don't want to have to deal with these resistances. This is why you see sell the news because people don't feel like we have the volume to get up and over those resistances and hold them. So right here, if we get the volume that we need, this will pull the 5 and the 20 up and over the 50 here. So let's look what happens when that happened here, okay? See how that happens? And now we were consolidating here, okay? This could, with the volume that it needs, push up and over the 200 from there and pull these MAs up. If that happens, well, let's go back to when it first happened, okay? This formation starts, okay? You get the reverse order, and now you have a bullish chart because the MAs are at the bottom and acting as support. Now look over here, okay? We're coming up and through here, coming up and over. This is a bullish chart, hence why the SP continue to go up because all the MAs are below it, so there's nothing to stop it, okay? Now let's go check out the weekly. All right, so if we go to the weekly, that'll show us our resistances, okay? This gives you your answer for why the daily, switching back to the daily real fast, folks, okay? Because I'm going to talk about this piece right here, okay? The June bump right here, okay? So keep an eye on this, okay? So let's go to this is the daily, and we're going to the weekly, okay? So if we come over to the weekly chart, all right, we could see when that big run happened, we were in a bull mode. Okay, look, all the resistances or MAs, excuse us, are beneath us acting as support. But look, we fell beneath it. We found the 50 as support on the weekly. Okay, and we rode that. And eventually, as you saw, we got a pop up here. Look what acted as resistance on that daily June bump up, everybody. That's your 20 on the weekly. That caused this to come back down and do this. Okay. So as we go back here, all right, they obviously wanted it to break. It's not going to break unless you have an insane amount of volume because look at the direction we are heading with the 20 right here, okay? It's heading down, okay? If we're heading down, all right, this is not going to punch through unless you have an insane amount of volume, okay? This is like 20 boulders rolling down, okay? Because we're talking about the daily versus the weekly. The weekly's stronger. So as it goes, yep, these are MAs, all right? As this goes down, Okay, so does this. Look, it was a brick wall, and now you're just free falling with it. Because there's no support here and we break it, it keeps going down until you find support. All right, notice right here, pretty sure that was the daily 200 that they found, okay, as support. It was probably this support right here. So if you took, take this line out right here, folks. All right, so if you take a horizontal line here and you put it at the bottom of here, this is your new higher lows. This was a low. This is a higher low. Okay, this is a new higher low. This acts as a major support for RGBP, or excuse me, ENZC. Look, it's staying above it. All right, that's huge. Okay, there's another line right here. Okay, right at the beginning of this breakout, and look, that acted as support too. That's what bounced that off and kept this above, all right, here. But what happened was we broke those support lines, so they kept going until, all right, looks like we got right to, oh, must have been on a weekly support. Oh, I see, right here. So if you take a line, where are we at? Right here. Okay, to this bottom of the screen stick right here, look where it bounced off of. Okay, this acted as support, your high or low from the beginning of the run all the way out in December time. All right. Yeah, so MAs, support lines, all these act as resistance until you go up and above them. Okay, so when you're above them, they act as support. When you're below them, they act as resistance. Okay, so that's why you do not want to go below it, and that's why you get selling. You get this, okay, right here, because you're not going to break this without insane volume. That's why I kept selling. All right, keep in mind each one of these candles are weeklies. Okay, so you have to have a lot of volume. Okay, look at this volume down here. These bars represent volume on my chart. All right. All right, so you, oh, wait 1 second. Reading your thing, Fox. But how do you see if volume is more than normal? So all you have to do is add an indicator on here. So if you go to indicators and you type in volume, okay, it just pops up. You click it, all right, and then it pops up right here on your chart. And these are the volume uh, bars. So if I open up my thing here, see volumes right here. All right, I can put my cursor over there, and if you look at that volume up at the top, it says how much it was. That was 137, okay? And then I moved to the next week. We had 48 million that week. And you keep an eye on the trend and look at the volume this week. We're already at 173, okay? So that's a lot of volume compared to what we've been seeing. And that's why you're seeing this right here. This is why you're seeing this breakout. And we need to continue to see it if you all want to break above these MAs. All right, so this is what we're doing um, for ENZC. Okay, so oh, 1 second, everybody. My computer's running low on battery. I forgot to plug it in. All right, so remember, MAs act as support if you're above them. So look, we haven't even touched the 200 here yet, so that's still going to act as support at the 550 level, okay? So I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. And then I'm going to actually take this fib away right here so Dennis can get a um, walk by on that. So look, we've got a nice curl on the weekly side. That's created by this huge green candle right here. This has to sustain itself and stay green for the week for this bend to stay in that upwards motion. If this continues to go up, this bend will curl up. And as we curl up, look what happens. Okay, that's what we want. So keep an eye on this. Now, it's really important that you all study candlesticks and what they mean. because there's patterns that technical traders look in signs for for a potential reversal. Okay, and this is what I'll show you, and that could be a bullish or bearish reversal. Okay, so what we're looking for um, here, this is a perfect example right here. Okay, so if I'm looking at the weekly side of things, this is a grand scale. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these white lines so they're not distracting for you, these support lines. Okay, all right, so this is from the weekly side of things. All right, so look, these are obviously bullish. Now this is indecision almost right here. Okay, this is how a candle works, okay? If it's red, it means that it opened at the top of this body right here, the top of the box, and went all the way up to here. That was the high, and it went all the way down, and then it came up and it closed at the bottom of this box right here, okay? When they're really close to each other, that's indecision, okay? Now we did it again, okay? Same thing for 2 weeks, indecision. It was going up. It could have gone two ways there. But what this is telling us, all right, is that buyers don't want to buy above this price and sellers don't want to sell below this price, essentially, okay? In between these wicks right here, all right? And as it's going up. So this back-to-back ones tends to think that it could go either way. And so sellers decided to take over and they said, you know what? We're just going to drop it. We don't know which way it's going here, so it's going to go down. Now, this is a hammer candle, okay? So we've got a open here, went all the way down, got rejected down here, and came back up to this high and came back and closed here. This shows a rejection of lower prices, okay? So this is bullish on when it's in a downtrend. Now, as we come over here, look, they're still undecided on these weeks, okay? They're really not sure. But the good thing is, out of these two, is look, the wick, which is the line on the lower side, is longer than the ones on the top. That means that the lower prices are getting rejected more so than the higher prices, and it's holding the 5MA. Look how it's sitting on here the whole way. That's bullish for me. That means they're trying to keep it on this the whole time. So this is a buy signal when it's back to back. And look what happens. Boom. All right. Boom. Now you can see this and you can see that they rejected these higher prices right here and came in. But I would have to look at the other time frames. This is a huge weekly perspective. It's just kind of a gist of all these things. And you can see it's going in an upward trend. Now look, this is rejection of higher prices, slightly lower, still indecision. It's not a massive red candle. And look what happens right here. Big boom, buyers take over, okay? And that leads us in to our final week. All right, final week, it opens here, crushed all the way to the top, and then came back down and settled here. Look at the rejection of these higher prices. Okay, that's a huge indicator that nobody wants to buy higher than that level. All right, the massive wick on here on the upper side, on the buy side, and then a smaller one on the low side. Huge rejection off of those prices. That led to a clear indication that, well, it's time to sell. Okay. Some people were like, yeah, no, we're still good. And while that's happening, the MAs are coming down. Now you have a hanging. Nah, all right. Now you've got I think this is called a shooting star. There's a bunch of crazy names for it, but essentially you opened here, you dropped all the way down, and then you closed here. When you're at the top of an uptrend, you don't want to see that. Okay, that's a sign of a reversal. Okay. So as you can see, the traders took that and look, it's just down, down, down and away from there. Okay. So that's why it's important to understand that how candlesticks work. And it's really just reading things. I mean, you can literally just Google stock chart candlesticks and just read through them. There's a ton of them out there that for indications. They're never 100%. They definitely do help you understand how a stock reacts to um, a, a sign of reversing either up or down. So you look right here, okay? Rejected the lower prices right at a support line of the MA, okay? Held it, so held it for 2 weeks afterwards, after that support. Oh, that's a bullish sign. It's 3 weeks right there, holding the 50, boom. See what happens from there? That's a very bullish sign. Yeah, absolutely, man. And then comes through. This all plays into RGBP, and this all comes into um, all your stocks, by the way. These are how charts work. So this is actually perfect, B-Dog, because we're going to see, and you're going to start noticing things on the RGBP chart once we get into it. All right? Yeah, no worries, man. Now, as we're going through here, look, we're coming up, resistance here. If this comes up and gets buy volume and pushes up, we break the final resistance here at 1964. The weekly will be in a bull chart, which means our daily is going to be in a bull chart. So it comes up and over here, and ENZC goes on a bull run, folks, because there's no more resistances at the higher time frames. Okay, this goes hand in hand what we're about to go in on RGBP in a second. Okay, so keep this in mind. All right, resistance if you're beneath your MAs, support if you're on top of them. So once these come up and over, this will then act as support. So we would have support holding this above it at 15 cents for ENZC. That means we would be able to have these as support too, which means it would help us further get close to this, let's say, say 19 level, and we would then be able to break over the um, the 50 MA on the weekly, and that sends ENZC on a bull run. Because remember, above it, you are bullish. There's no resistance. There's only um, support there. Okay, that's huge news, and why I think ENZC is a great buy at these levels, in my opinion, as long as it holds this area right in here, folks. I mean, we've seen what they have to offer. This is a great opportunity potentially for going. Now we use indicators on these to help further our speculation based on the MAs. Okay, so we use the MACD over here, and look, the MACD is been going down. It's on the negative side right here, and look what's about to happen. It's about to curl up and come upwards towards the positive side. Okay, this will be created once it's up and over the 20 on the weekly right here. Okay, you can see the QQE. Look when it goes blue, folks. All right, and it's riding that, it's very bullish. When it goes down and is red, it's bearish. So this is coming down. You can see it's starting to trim and come up this way. Keep your eye on it. RSI on the weekly is very low. RSI is a relative strength index, and it allows us to understand if a stock is overbought, which means that there's too much buying involved. All right, the price is too high. Okay, that means it's over 70%, which is this dotted line or higher, or if a stock is oversold. Okay, oversold is below 30%. This does not indicate to buy. Okay, what this does is this helps you understand, should I buy or should I sell? Okay, based on other factors. It's in addition to what you have. Okay, so if you look over here, look at ENZC when we were in a a quote unquote bull market. All right, and this thing was moving. It could stay in the overbought territory for a longer time, but not when you're in a bear market. All right, so that's what it does. So let's go to the daily real fast and take a peek. Okay, look at the RSI over here. We are in a bear market right now because we're under those MAs, okay, on the Russell, okay, so you don't have that volume yet. So to stay in that overbought territory is going to be hard to do. Okay. So what we're looking for is right here. Look, this is hovering down right here in the oversold territory. Okay. People saw that as a buy signal, got a spike, came down through, saw it again as an opportunity, and comes up. Look, QQE went blue on the daily. This is why I got so excited with RGBP over the last couple days. We are on the cusp of this as well. And this is what is so huge because you all can see when this goes blue, especially on the longer time frames. Remember, weekly and daily are the strongest. Okay. Look what happens. All right, folks, when we're on the blue side on the daily of ENZC right here. All right, it goes up, folks. It's hard to reverse that. Look, it got a little nugget here. Okay, well, guess what? We got a couple nuggets and we're up. Look at the white line right here. Okay, this is right on here. Okay, see how this one's up and over? That's bullish, folks. Bullish. So that's why I'm huge, or I'm big on ENZC now. I'll get to it in a second, my man. All right, a lot of you all are here for the RGBP chart, so here it is, folks. All right, so you just saw what I went over with ENZC. If you didn't, I highly suggest you go back and watch this video later when it uploads, okay? Tons of really good charting information at you. And I will, Dennis, I'll make sure to get those fibs in for you as well. Here, trying to zoom out here. All right, there we go. Okay, folks. So this is why I am so massively bullish on RGBP, all right, in comparison to what we just saw with ENZC and why it could potentially have a very similar run. This is all speculation and is based on volume coming in. It's completely my opinion based on what we just went over, okay? But as we know, the 200 on top is bearish. Okay, we need all the MAs up and over it. Okay, so what happened was we got enough volume to send this thing skyrocketing up and over. But that's a clear indication to sell a stock. Okay, so look, it got rejected the heck out of. All right, there's your rejection right there of higher prices and hence leading to this. It's because this 200 is above. Okay, but guess what? It now acts as support, everybody. That's why it didn't dip below the 127 spot. All right, ding, 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 ding. We all catching on now? So look, as it's going through, it finds its support, and while it's doing that, look at the MAs. They bounce off of each other and they continue for another jump there. It makes complete sense why it goes up again because of that. That's a bullish mark. Now we're only waiting for the 50 to come over. Well, guess what? We get a rejection here, okay, and a sell. We're looking in the end of August right here. And since then, it's been in a down spout, okay? But we've also got to think about the time in the market as a whole and how it is pulled back from there, all right? So now look at this, all right? We have been down. It's going down, but look, the 50 is now over. This is called a golden cross. This is what everybody looks for. And look what's acting as support again, folks. That means 9.5, which got rejected right here, as you can see, and coming up. This is a huge, huge, huge opportunity, in my opinion, because we have held this thing throughout because Ann will hold as support. As long as we don't break 9.5, this thing is going to go on a massive run. Now look, this is what we're looking for, keeping an eye on RGBP. One, we want it to obviously hold this level, okay? Two, give me 1 second. I just spotted something I wanted to look at. All right, so it's bolt. It is a support line. Okay. So look at this line here at 135. Holy crap, I wish I had noticed this earlier today. Easy buy. This is a support line right here, okay? Because right here we started a new run. The bottom of this candle is now support. Look how many times it has been rejected at the 135 level. 1, 2, 3. It's also supported. 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 times. Won't even come down here, and then I guess that's 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and today was 7. If we hold the 135 line this week, this is weekly, by the way. This is massive. This is the biggest one you could get at for what we're looking at. If we hold the 135 line for RGBP right here, this thing is going to absolutely get the support it needs to bring it up. I will make sure I could do what in my power to try and hold it above that line this week. But as a whole, it's as a market, we hold this 135 level. This 8 flattens out, and then as the buys come in, it curls up. Then we get up over the 50. The 50 then acts as support. Okay. Right now, you can see this 8 has been acting as resistance. Look how we've been staying under it the whole time. We break this at 144. We're up and over the 5. That's a 5, excuse me. I'm used to using 8. And then we're up and over here. Then it sends us over the 50. We break up and over there. That acts as support too. Then we break up over 265. There are no more resistances on RGBP on the strongest time frame that we're using here. Let me repeat that. We will have 0 resistance, and we will be in a bull chart if we get the SP up and over 260. Keep in mind, this will continue to descend as the weeks go on. So this will actually come down probably 250 range. So we get over 250, all right, in the next couple weeks, RGBP has no more resistance. What happens when you have no more resistance, folks? That happens, okay? This happens. But this doesn't happen. It doesn't come back because we don't have resistance here, all right? This doesn't come back down because now we have the 50 on our side and up and over. We will have a true bullish chart for the first full bullish chart on the weekly on RGBP forever. Literally. Look how high the 200's been forever, okay? This will literally be the first time RGBP is full on bullish in the weekly. That's a crazy thought to think about. And that's the potential here that I see happening in a massive breakout occurring because we know how much people believe in RGBP, how many patents they have behind it and everything. Could you imagine a freaking buyout at that time? This thing would go skyrocketing. And not only that, we are at less than a penny and a half. Absolutely bonkers that people aren't, jumping on this right now. They have no idea what we are in for right here. It's insane. So, if you've been following me, you know that I love this method called swoop and loop. A swoop and loop essentially is when you have low volume, okay, your stock gets sold, okay, and as it gets sold, it finds a support line. When it gets that support, all right, you get a huge buy, and that brings up your lower indicator up and over these right here on the higher time frames. And what happens is this 5 will pull over the 20, zoom in, up and over here. Then they'll work together and they'll pull up to here and go up and over this resistance. And then these will work together to pull up and over. And then you are on a bull run, folks. There's no more resistances on the daily after 220, folks. Good God. We are literally away from a full-on breakout of RGBP by getting over 260 at today's price. 260 and getting these MAs up and over them sends us on a bull run. Now the MAs don't go over; they have to hold over, and they take days for them to for the actual indicators to go. It's going to be absolutely insane, folks. This is what it looks like when you get a true swoop and loop. Look, we're coming down. MAs are down. Look when you have the green, blue, yellow, purple. Goodbye. All right. Then it comes down and you get a fib retracement coming through. And look as it goes. Look what happens again. The 5 swoops down, comes up and over. Green, blue, yellow, purple. Boom. Runner, folks. Guess what happens if this happens? Green comes over, blue comes over, yellow comes over, and then we continue upwards. Breakout. This is why I'm so bullish on RGBP for a breakout. All right. It needs to hold these levels, hold these volumes. But as you can see, it's rejecting the 9.5 level, which is fantastic. Okay. Especially because the price is only at 141 right now. And you saw how strong the 135 was at that level. This is where are we at? 135 right here. How many times this has bounced off in the past right here, okay? It broke here, all right, broke this strong support, but it found the 200, bounced off of it, and came back up and over. That's what support does for us. Once you're over the resistance, the MAs, it is then support, and it holds up your stock, okay? What you want is you want it on the weekly side of things so that it can hold you up, folks. All right. Look, bounced right off of it. All right. Support. Okay. So we have this massive support here at, let's say 9.3. Okay. So 9.3, massive support. Okay. For that massive support at 135. Now that we're up and over it. All right. So it's freaking awesome. And this is why RGBP is going to be great. Now, I'm going to go backwards some more so you can see how the process works for this, okay? And what we're currently doing. Here's the 4-hour chart, okay? Notice the formation, green, blue, yellow, purple, riding it up, holding that 200 as support line, boom, flying through. Now it's on the opposite end, hence why we bounced off huge resistance here and coming back down, all right? Now we have to break up and over this 50 for support. Hey, folks, guess what we did the other day? We did it. All right. We just have to hold it above there. Okay. So if we can come back up and hold above this, what's it currently sitting at? 145. We hold 145. This 50 comes as support for us. All right. This 21 or 20 is acting as support at 129. Okay. We fell below the 8. That's why it's acting as resistance. We want to get up and over that. Now, as we come over here, look what we're sitting on. We're sitting on the 50 on the 3-hour, okay? 3-hour. All right, this is support, massive support at the 135 level, okay? So look how these MAs flow, okay? Think of this as a very strong resistance when it's going straight down and your SP is beneath it, okay? Takes a lot of volume, these volume spikes, to break up and above it, and then you got to break up and above this. All right, you can't break up and above this because these are too far. You need a crap ton of volume to do that. So it acts as resistance, bounces off, didn't act as support, and fell down. So now look at this. Look how much closer they are now. Look how much more flat they are. Easier to break through. What do you mean by backwards, Dennis? I don't know if I caught myself saying something I didn't mean to say. As they're going, is like a downtrend right here. Okay, as this is in a downtrend, and the MAs is I'm guessing what you're asking here. You have to come up and through. The 200 is a resistance, all right, because you need a lot of volume to break that, especially from here. But what this is doing is it's basically coming back, hitting off of here, coming back down, but now it's getting a lot closer. See how the separation on these two? Too far. All right, now we're close and it's flattened out. Okay, let's go to the 2 hour. Okay, same here. Look, resistance here, got above it, but it found it on the other one. Look how this clashed, came down beneath it. All right, but look, closer now. Look at the separation. Now it's flat and they're running together. Look at the support right here at 131. Okay, now this is what I love. I went back day wise. Yeah, I'm just going back and going through what we are going, what we're looking for, and why this is going to break above the resistances. So if you look back in time, all right, when they're in the correct order, they go up. Vice versa when they come back down a bit. Okay, so as we're in a downtrend, because look, the MAs are all flowing down, and the SPs underneath of them, it acts as resistance until you get enough power to volume to push up and out of it. Okay, look at this insane amount of volume to cause this on the 1 hour. All right, this was the resistance that we hit on the 200 on the 3 hour chart. Okay, that spike right there was denied because of this 200 right here. Okay, so if we go back to the hourly, we know why that got hit and why this came back down. Okay, but what's happening here are these are getting closer together. Look how they're squeezing in. All right, when this happens and this curls up, we get a bullish. Oh, I don't know why I said that. Just ignore it. All right. Um, as we're coming in here, all right, what we're doing is we're flattening these flattening these MAs out. And look, there's no more downtrend, okay? Because these are flattening out, all right? Look what happened if we go back in time. I hope that one helps out a little bit more. Look when it's flattened out. Look what can happen when the 200 flatten. You can come up and over, all right? It reverses. And that's what we're looking for right now. Folks, this isn't happening in a day or two, all right? It takes time because each one of these candles is 1 hour, okay? This stuff is coming, okay? Yes, thank you, Clay. All right, so backwards is weekly, daily, 4 hour, 3 hour, 2, 1, 30, 15, 5, 3, and 1. All right, so you're going back on the time frames, and forward would be 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1, 2, 3 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly. Okay, because those are all the time frames that I use. So that being said, what we don't want are these MAs going down like this because they act as a rolling boulder that's hard to break through. All right, they act as resistance. But when they're flat, okay, or even coming up, that's even better. That shows that we have a potential for a breakout to occur. Okay, volume helps us obviously expedite the process. Now, if we backtrack backwards into time, by that I mean we're going from the hourly to the 30-minute now. Okay, let's look at what happened here over the course. Okay, this spike was obviously, look at this, we had a golden cross which came in and was a very bullish sign, what people are looking for, but it gets rejected up here because this spike right here went all the way up and got rejected at the 200, sending this back down. Okay, that's what happened on the 30-minute. Okay, this is a whole process. Okay, the lower time frames, like the 30, 15, 5, 3, and 1, they do this all the time because they are affecting these larger time frames. The 1 hour, the 2 hour, the 3 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, and the weekly. Those take time. All right. It's a lot easier to get 30-minute candles. That's why you get up and downs on these things. But look what happens still on the 30-minute chart here. Look what happens on a golden cross upwards. Okay, you get these huge spike ups, all right, before you hit these resistances, and the resistance, all right, forces it back down. So what's happening here is, look, these are now not descending, they are flattening out, folks. This is what we want to see. We want it flat. on the charts, okay? Even a little down is okay for entry wise, in my opinion, because look, the 200 right here is flattening out. I'm going to zoom in here. All right, see? Look at where we are here. We are now flat on the 200 on the 30-minute. All right, this all is going to coincide together once we get to these larger time frames. And now look at the 15-minute. All right, we are curling up on the 200. That's an early indicator that this is coming on later time frames. Okay, so this is happening, all right, because we're working, all right, we're doing a fib retracement because, boom, 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 come through here on there, because we had this spike up through here. All right, here's your resistance, folks. So what we did today and yesterday, and what was it, 30th, from here till there, you get these huge spikes, folks. So look, if you bought in here, let's just say you got right here, all right, on the 27th of December, okay, and you sold at the top. Okay, you ran 73%. 73% is a big number, all right? You put in $100, that you got 73 back. You almost doubled your money, all right? So you found resistance here, okay? It hits this. This causes the 200 to stop falling, folks. That is huge because, as we know, it takes a lot to stop a boulder. All right, look, it's going down. It took this huge spike to just flatten this out. Look what we're doing right now. We hit it, we stay above here. These flatten out together on the hourly, a stronger time frame than the 30 and below. We go to the 30. Look, the 30 is already flattened. All right, because we did that because we hit back here. All right, we hit into it coming down and we got this huge spike. These huge spikes in SP cause the 200, okay, to flatten out because that's what it does. They're moving averages of your total price, okay? These get I don't want to use the word manipulated, but they get that's how they move. All right, they get adjusted based on the stock price. The stock price goes up, then these start to move upwards. Look, it takes nothing to move a 5-day moving average up or a 20-day moving average. It takes a lot more for a 50 because you're adding those 50 days together. It takes a crap ton more for a 200-day moving average. So once you get these things flattened out, that is huge. Because remember, if we come over top of it, these now act as support, folks. So the 200 is support at 135. 135, as we know, has acted as a huge, huge, huge support system. All right. So as we go back to the 15 over here, look, now we have support on the 200 at 128 on the 15-minute chart. That's beautiful. All right. Now let's go over to the 5-minute chart, see what we're doing here. Okay. 5-minute, each one of these candles is 5 minutes. It's going to go up and down like a freaking roller coaster because that's what it's doing. It's a lower time frame that moves it up and down. So you can't really rely on the 1, 3, or 5 unless you're like a day trader. Okay. But what's going to happen is, look, now we're under here. This is going to act as some type of resistance. Okay. As here, look, resistance hits this, comes back down, comes up and through. All right. But the good thing is, if we go back to the longer time frame, okay, so we went from a 5-minute chart to a 15-minute chart, we have support here at 128. So the lowest this thing should technically go based on that on the 200. There's 135 is lower because of the other time frames, but it'll hit the 135. It'll hold this for consolidation and then come back up over the 200, and then this will act as support again. All right, so these are very weak support systems and resistance. It's easier to break these really low time frames because that's what they do. They go up and down for the longer time frames. So if we go to the 3 here, okay, you can see it's flattening out here as well. And if you see on the 1 minute, this is a good eye, look how tight it is. All right, look how close we are. Look how flat they're getting. this is why I feel like RGBP can easily pop up and above this 1-4 line right here and send this back up and over. I'm trying to get back, a little lag here on my computer, up and over here as well, sending in a new run because we know we have support on the sorry, that's good. 200 support right here at 135, plus a huge massive support based on the whole chart in general that we went over earlier. Okay, as long as it holds 135, folks, this 1 minute right here wouldn't go below here, which means it would hold this area and either consolidate here and or break above the 200 and start another run. This is where fibs come into play, all right? And this is why people use fibs. Okay, what I just went over was all the moving averages and how they work, all right? A simple aspect of instead of just focusing on those MAs are using Fibonacci's. Okay, so what you do is you take a Fibonacci tool. Okay, I'm on the hourly here. Actually, yeah, let's just stay here. Right over here are your indicators on TradingView. Okay, you got a bunch of them right here. Okay, if you star them, they'll come up at the top. Okay, and they'll also show you shortcuts. So Alt F is a Fibonacci retracement. Extensions are used for when we ascend for profit, and I'll use both of these. So I will forewarn you, I am not the best Fibonacci user. I am brand newish to it, been using it for about a month now. So I'm here and there, but from how I've been using it, it has worked really well. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take these spots on the small, if we're going to do it from a grand scheme of things, a much larger one. This is just on these small pullbacks. People will say, well, why isn't the stock going today? It's red. Well, a stock can't always go up, folks. It's got to build layers of support like we did at that 135 level to keep it going. So if we put a Fibonacci here, all right, we put it from the bottom to the top here, okay, it gives us these support lines. And look what we're sitting at right here, folks. It's bouncing off of this 382 Fibonacci line right here. And it's holding that. If it doesn't, then we have another one. It's 127. Oh, coincidentally, 127 is another one of our MAs that we have for support. Okay? So that's what Fibonacci's are and how we use them. Just because it's there doesn't mean it stays there. It could go to the next one. That's when we look at our supports, and you want to look at your moving averages that you have for support. If we go over here, we see that the 200 is right here on this Fibonacci line. That's a very strong spot of support, okay? If we go back to the 15-minute chart, look, the 200 is at 128, which is coincidentally our Fibonacci line, folks. All right, so Fibonacci's are used as a easier indicator instead of looking through all your MAs to see where the support is and isn't, okay? But this is what I want to show you as well. Let's see here. Let's see. Backing out. We're going to go on a larger time frame here, okay? So I'm going to go to the daily. And this is really important. All right. I'm not going to show it on RGBP because this is such a funky chart that it's going to be harder to show. Actually, I will show it from the from our little one right here. Okay, so if you same thing applies here. If you take it, this is exactly where we were. So we take it from the bottom to the top right here. Okay, we are doing a Fibonacci extension, or excuse me, Fibonacci retracement. All right. So what we're looking at is, all right, didn't get quite the high there. Okay. So bottom of the wick all the way to the top here. Okay. And then these are our levels here. Okay. And this is what we use to know when to buy a stock. Okay. That's not financial advice. That is literally what people use to determine when to enter or exit a stock. Okay. They look at levels of support. They look at hey, what's the candles doing on here? Remember when I talked to you all about candles earlier with the ENZC? That's what I look for in this as well. Is it holding this level? Look, bounced right off of support here, came back up and got a buy support. Now it's coming back down to this level. This is showing me consolidation at this level. It's showing me that we have a very strong support system. If somebody wants to tank a stock, they just drop millions and millions and millions. Have you looked at level two? If you don't know what level two is, it tells you the buy and the sell orders. Both sides have been extremely low on both sides. There hasn't been much resistance and there hasn't been much support per se. Okay, both have had roughly about a million on both sides at certain spots. That being said, all right, if somebody wanted to and had a bunch of shares, they would just drop it down. But that's stupid because they know they have levels of support at certain levels that people are just going to accumulate at those and ride it all the way back up. Okay. So that being said, look how this is coming back up and over on the 15-minute. This right here is bullish. We've talked about the 1 minute and how the longer time frames are very tight and get ready to get up and over the resistances here. Okay. RGBP is literally taking a Fibonacci retracement. Okay. Look, we have been green, doji, which this held. This was a clear indication that this is holding, hence the buys right here, and hence why the stock went up. But look, after a certain run, it's going to take a Fibonacci retracement. My thought process was 382, which is at 132. Okay, coincidentally. But as we know, 135 is a massive, massive support for RGBP. Now, look what's happening with these MAs on the daily. We are about to come up and over the 21, okay? Or the 20, excuse me. We want to come get the SP back over this so that this 20 on the daily will act as support for us, okay? We don't want to come below these and act as resistance. That's why I think this will be a strong support layer for tomorrow, and that will bounce up over it. We're going to find resistance here, folks. It always happens the first time. But guess what? As soon as we get up and over these and we can stay above them, it acts as support, which then pulls these up because the price is higher, which means we get a swoop and loop, which means all these come up and push up. And guess what? Once we get this for support right on here and on other time frames as well, then we can come over and we can break over because look how close all these are. And then once we get up and over here and we hold this level, this acts as our support. Then we have zero resistance up here. Okay, the next resistance would technically be at this level right here on the daily chart. Weekly wise, we would have one more set of resistances. All right, so what we're looking at here is we need to get over the 193 hump, and then we have to get over the 262 hump right here, okay? We get over these two, RGBP goes bull. There's no more resistance above this 2.6 level right here, okay? There's nothing. So once these all come up and we find this as support, we are golden, folks. Golden. 260 is the golden number to hold for RGBP to send it on a bull run. We're at 140 right now, so feeling pretty good about that. All right. Now, that being said, keep an eye on the MACD. See it's curling here, and keep an eye here on the QQE. All right. It's still a little early on the week because we are at the beginning stages of a reversal. Look, all right, we got this bullish. Take the fib out of the way so you can see this bullish hammer rejection of lower prices. Okay, which is leading to this week. This is not a confirmation until we have some solid support over here, folks. That's when the volume will start coming in. All right. Now, that being said, keep an eye on these indicators right here. Look how low this RSI is, 44%. Remember, oversold is 30%. That's fantastic. Now let's look over here. RSI is at 45 on the daily. Beautiful. Why am I so excited, folks? Because guess what? All right, we've got this coming in on the daily up and over. So any buys above 140 tomorrow sends this thing up and through, and we are going to act as support here at the 200 or at the 20 day, excuse me. Look at the MACD right here. It is green upwards. We could have had a blue indicator here if we held up above here. All right, the blue indicator went away, but still look, the line is holding. STC is green and holding up above here as well. These are all very bullish signs, and why I'm so excited. I don't care about a pullback. Are you kidding? I love pullbacks. How you create a successful chart is not going straight up. It's about building these levels of support on the way up that lead to a bullish run. So I fully support pullbacks. Now, what I want to do is I would like us to hold this 135 support zone because it's such a strong support, and I don't want this 15, or is it 15 or 30? Yeah, it's a 30-minute. I don't want to have this 30 act as resistance again. We're sitting on top of it now, acting as support, and that's why it's so clutch that we hold it above there, because it'll continue to hold as support as long as we stay above it. Look, folks, we just knocked down the 200 MA on the 1 hour, and now we want to come up and over it. Okay, that's what we're looking for. All right, then we'll get some resistance here on the 2 hour. You get the drill, right? Unless we get a crazy amount of volume that really pushes us up and through, you get resistance up here at the 3 hour. Okay, it's a process, but it's a process that's going to lead to a end result of a super bullish breakout, several days, weeks in advance. Okay. Keep an eye on the QQE going blue and sending this up and over. And remember, we break above these things and hold them. They act as support. Same thing goes over here. So we got 255 that we got to break over here. All right. We've got to break, where are we at here? 190 on for the 200 up and above, and 182 right now on the 2. Okay. So right now, our goal, okay, and this is where we found our resistance, is to break 150. That is our goal right now for RGBP, is to break and hold 150. If we break, then hold that, this will create a golden cross, creating super amount of support for the 1 hour and below, and then that will lead us into, obviously we already have support over here, to coming up and over this resistance at the 200 on the 2 hour. Then after that, and we get support at that 180 level, then our next goal is to go on the 190 level and break the support right over here. 180 and 190 are super close. That's why it's so clutch. All right. And then the biggest task over here is going to be breaking this 250 zone, okay? Because remember, we have a 50 to go over right here, all right, a 180. So that 180 zone is going to be really challenging to break for us. But once we do it, it's going to send a absolute bull rush to this, because over 180 sends us to 250. Okay, because I don't think, or 220 at least. Yeah, 220. All right, so 180, 220, and then 260 and above, we're gone. Okay, so it's a process, and we're going to get there. All right. Now, ICOA was asked about. I'm going to have to do this one quickly. I'm running out of time here. All right. Same thing that we talked about. All right. We're on the daily here. You've got strong support at the 60 level, but let's backtrack. Backtrack, I mean, we're going back down these time frames right here. That's it. So we wanted to hold this at support. We did not hold this. So let's continue to backtrack, go to the 3 hour now. All right. There's no support down here for ICOA. All right. All right, so you see what I mean? We've got resistances. Now, all of here. Here we go. Is it, what are we at here? Looks like, ooh, barely tell here, folks. Looks like it's below it. and finish below it, but it's kind of hanging in right at that. That's why you're getting a lot of resistance right here at this resistance. I'd say support because resistance it would fall below it. So I'm thinking that's where your support's coming through right now. So your support is hanging on by a thread right here on the 81 side. Let's go over to the weekly side and see if you have any support on that side. Okay. What's our biggest support down here? 50. Obviously, don't want that. Um, and 60 for the daily. So yeah, so you've got a lot of resistances. You do not want to break this 80 level. Absolutely do not want to break this 80 level, folks. Okay. This will send ICOA in a spiral. Do not want it. Okay. You need the volume to keep it up and above this 200 right here on the hourly chart. Okay, has to stay above this 200 because if we look back at any other time frame, you've got no other MA support and a crap ton of resistance all the way to the only MA support you would have next would be at 60. But keep in mind, MA support is not everything. Look, you've got these support lines right here. You've got a strong support line right here as well at 7. Yeah, right there, it's 7. So you've got support at 7, 6, and 60. I think it finds support somewhere in that 7, 6, 81 range, 80 range. So make sure that you're holding on to that. Yeah, absolutely, Thomas. Um, but yeah, just keep in mind of that. And the last thing I want to get into um, before we go, actually, let's look at the weekly real fast of ICOA. All right, so check this out on ICOA. Yeah, this is why I remember it, why I like ICOA. Look what's happening here, folks. You guys, if we hold resistant or hold support at these levels right here, and ICOA gets the support that it needs to break those resistances, look, there's nothing above 119 on ICOA right here on the weekly side of things. All right, and then right here at 101, ICOA could absolutely freaking rip. Um, if it breaks those. Okay. See, look, we hit resistance right here on this 20. Got rejected right here. All right, because this was down. So as soon as this 5 comes over the 20, bull rush for ICOA, everybody. Yeah, Dennis, I've got if you go to my intro video on YouTube, I actually have a setup. I'll do another setup as well for it. TradingView is by far the best app that I use. I just can't find anything better. Seriously, it's absolutely worth every dime that I put into it. I will give you a heads up. There is a free 30-day trial of any of them that you want, and that I've had in the past. I'm sure they still have it. And then when I canceled, um, they'll be like, "Are you sure you want to cancel?" And it'll be like, "Well, we've got a final offer for you." It's like, "We'll give you," and they gave me like 60% off. So I took advantage of that and I took the 60% off. I mean, this whole thing cost me 100 and something dollars. I think it was like 170 bucks for the whole year. I think it was 13 months. Okay, so 10 what was it like over a couple teens a month or whatever like that. You can make it in a trade. Literally, if you financially want to do it, it's an investment to helping you be more successful in your trading. Not saying go out and buy it or whatever, but it helps me as a trader tremendously. Okay. I mean, I can't show you half the stuff that I can do with the other charts because it just doesn't look as great. All right, so what I wanted to show you guys and why Bitcoin really needs to hold above this 44 level, and this pertains to a lot of stocks and a lot of things as well. I want to show you how precise crypto is with these Fibonacci retracements. You guys ready for this? All right, so if we take a Fibonacci line and we put it at the bottom to the top. Oh. Is this one second. All right, so look. All right, hold on 1 second. Can't remember for this one. Oh, there it is. All right, so popping in here. Look how they bounce off of these Fibonacci's so precisely and hold this level. Okay, this was back when we had it. They were like, "Oh, Bitcoin's going to the crapper. It's falling out. It's done for. Blah 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 blah." Yeah, whatever, dude. Um, they literally follow these Fibonacci's perfectly. So you can actually do a reverse one, all right, to the lows here from the highs up here. And actually, you don't. There you go. And I mean, look at this, folks. I mean, it hits resistance and then it comes back down. Look right here. All right. So it hit this this extension here. Look, came up here. Look where it got rejected at. Boom, gets rejected right at the 618 level, and then it does another fib retracement. All right. I mean, this stuff just follows fibs left and right. Okay. So if it took, I'm gonna take this here. Boop, boop, boop. All right, down to here. Look, bouncing off these fibs right here. Small one did a 5 fib, bounced right off of it, holding up above at that 382. All right, and then we delete that there. We grab another one here, go to here, go to here. All right, now look, Bitcoin. This is a shorter one. I would do personally a longer one. I'd do down to here. All right, so look, in Bitcoin, okay, it's coming up. Look, it's finding this 382 fib down here. So what's happening in my delete is it's retracing to these fib levels again and again and again. So keep your eye on how far it retraces because I think it was, where was it? 6-1. Yeah, here you go. So from the bottom of here, this last run, all right, I'm going to hit the very low to the top, tippity top of this run right here. Look where we're at right here, 618. I was expecting a 4-4, but obviously with the market the way it was, it hit this. So what we're looking for is support. So what we'll do is we'll go to our support. Look at right here, bounced off of here and came up. Where are we at right now? Exactly at that exact precise support for Bitcoin. So let's see if Bitcoin holds this level here. This is the weekly chart, by the way. So we'll have to wait till the end of the week if it see what happens. But crypto just follows these precise. Um, yeah, see how much different. See the difference between these because it's the whole week in general. So it's sitting on the weekly right here. You can go to the daily. You can take your line again, and you can put it at the bottom of these daily ones. See how it's bouncing off right here. You can get a more accurate. So if it doesn't hold here, then I would look to this level right here. Um, and then you've got another one over here as well. But Bitcoin has taken these 6.18 retracements almost every time on this massive run up of Bitcoin over the years. Not just that, years. Okay. So, and then it goes up from there. Now, check this out, Dennis. If you take the extension, which is the same thing, if you just put the other ones there, let me get rid of this so it's not distracting for you. All right, and you go here and you click on extensions. So extensions are what you use to know when to take profit. I'm just gonna put it from the low over here, and then let's put it from the high here, and then the low here, and then we're gonna pull it across. All right, so I went from the very low to the top of here. Imagine this wasn't here yet. Okay, imagine that past this dotted line right here, it hasn't occurred yet. Okay, so lowest low, highest high, lowest low. Okay, these are your extensions right here. All right, going up. Okay, look where it hits. and it gets rejected at. It literally gets rejected perfectly at the 786 fib. Okay? That's an easy indicator for traders to say, oh, hey, it hit the 786 fib. I'm going to sell. And look what happened. And then it found support at the 382, and then it kept going. All right? And then look what happens, folks. It gets rejected right at this one level right here from this fib. Okay? So now, what we could do is we can move this over here. All right, look at the bottom of the fib here. All right, and now look where it's getting rejected now. All right, it got rejected perfectly at the top of here. Couldn't break that, so it's coming back down. So what we'll wait for, okay, what we'll wait for is the bottom on this one. Okay, once that bottom comes in, all right, let's just assume this is bottom right here. Okay, let's say we hit bottom on this dip right here. I'm trying to get it. Oh, actually, sorry. Right there. All right. So let's see if it holds up and comes up above. I would move this fib. Dang it. Fib extension from here to here. Let's say that's bottom. Okay. Now we're moving up here and we're looking to break above, 8.2 up here. Let's 7.38 coming up as well. And then look up here, the old elusive 100,000. Okay. So I think that this retraces slightly more to these levels. It'll find a support line and then it'll bounce up and off of there. All right, everybody. Hope you all had a good time, learned something tonight. I will catch y'all later. Hope you all have a great rest of the trading